Hello, Beth Jacob Congregation, the Center for Your Virtual Jewish Life. It's good to see you guys. Two stories you know really well. I'm going to put them together and show you how that even though they're two stories you know well, when you put them together, they actually make less sense, but then they will in the end. I'll give you an example. Something inside of us doesn't make any sense. You get up in the morning and you're like, what? Oh, I don't want to get up. I don't want to go and do anything. Davening. I did it yesterday. But then you're done davening and you're like, wow, that made my day. I feel fantastic. I'm all ready to go. I now feel good. I've done something spiritual. Now I can sit down and play video games for an hour and feel like a holy person. Or other examples, homework. Oh, homework. All these time homework. This is so dumb. But then when you're done with your homework, you feel so good about yourself. You're like, you know what? I'm done. I've got everything done. Now I can go do what I really like to do. So there's a lot of things that when you start them, they feel really lame and gross and weird. But when you're done with them, you're like, yeah, of course, I need to do that. So it makes my life real and better. And yeah. So what's with that? Why do we have that in ourselves? Like, wow, starting it's scary. I don't like to. It's not where I want to be. Right now with COVID-19, a lot of us are going family walk. Oh, family walk. Oh, it's so lame. It's going to be hot. And then all of a sudden, you go on the walk. You're like, oh, cool. Leaf, tree, bug, rabbit. Oh, look at that cute little rabbit. I'm not that I'm that into rabbits. No, you are that into rabbits. You've gotten into rabbits because you like doing those walks. Anyway, once you're on them, you really enjoy them. But before you do them, you don't really know if you like them or not. It's an insanity that's inside of all human beings. And there's a beauty to it. It makes accomplishing something great, right? If climbing Everest was super easy, everyone would be like, yeah, let's climb Everest this morning. Since it's super hard, you're like, I really want to do it, but I don't know, it's hard. And then when you're standing on top of the mountain, you're like, yeah, I did that. Anyway, with God's help. So 2 ideas from Shavuot. They're going to be 2 separate ideas you've heard before. You ever thought about like, what? These guys don't make any sense. The first one, it actually mentions in Devarim, which is in another book from now in the Torah. So it actually mentions that the Jewish people were, when it says that Hashem came to the Jewish people, he said he came from Har Seir, and then he appeared to the Jewish people. So the Medrash there says, hey, what does that mean? Hashem came from like Har Seir. That's where like the non-Jews live. That's where Edom lives. Why would he be coming from there? What was he doing hanging out with other people? So the answer to that is this. It actually says that Hashem went to all the other nations that could have bought into Judaism and the Torah, and he said, hey, do you want the Torah? And here's how he did it. The first one he went to is Edom, which is Esau's great-great-great-great-great-grandkids. And since he related to Esau, he's like, hey, Esau, you were kind of a child of Yitzchak. You're kind of part of the Jewish people. Do you want to buy in again? Are you interested in the Torah? And Esau said, hey, look, my brachas, I have to live by the sword. The Torah says not to kill. It's not going to work for me. Then he went to Ammon and Moab, and he's like, Ammon and Moab, you guys were Lot's kids, and Lot and Avram were tied together, and they were both almost going to be part of the Jewish people. So you guys want the Torah. You guys have like almost like a little bit of Jew in you. You got a little bit of Avram in you. And Ammon and Moab were like, yeah, we don't like marrying normal things. Like even like we all started when like our moms married our dads and like we're our own grandchildren or weird things like that. So marriage doesn't work for us. There's too many laws about marriage. We don't want it. Okay. And Hashem tried one last people. He said, Yishmael, you were Avram's son. You were almost part of the Jewish people. You guys want the Torah. And Yishmael was like, look, I kind of like doing what I want. You know what I mean? Someone walks by, they got something going on. I kind of want to like stick my hand in their pocket and take something, right? Because it says that it says in the Torah, their hands are going to be in other people's pockets and other people's hands are going to be in their pockets. They're like, yeah, we can't live like that. You guys are too strict. So all these different nations had a chance to choose the Torah, and they said, nope, I'm sorry, it's not for us. It seems a little bit too hard for us to do. And the Jews said, Nasa v'nishma. I don't want to hear what's in the Torah. Don't tell me, Hashem. It's too scary. Just, I trust you, Hashem. You're the best thing that's ever happened to us. Give us the Torah, and we'll do it. We'll do it. Now, that shows a beautiful sense of love, and we accept the Torah because we love Hashem. The problem is there's a completely different Gemara in Gemara Shabbos. So it says the Jews were standing under the mountain, and everyone's like, why under the mountain? They were standing at the foot of the mountain, at the base of the mountain, at the side of the mountain. You don't stand under a mountain, right? Mountain's here, you're here. You can't be under a mountain. So it actually says they were under the mountain. Hashem had taken the mountain, and he lifted it over their heads, and the Jewish people looked up all together and like, wait a minute, a mountain on top of our heads? That's kind of scary. What if the mountain goes back to normal? We all get smushed like pancakes. So the Jewish people were like, what's going on? And Hashem said, are you going to accept the Torah? Because if not, the mountain's coming down. And the Jewish people were like, yeah, we'll accept the Torah. I don't want a mountain coming down on us. So to some degree, we didn't accept the Torah because we wanted to. We accept the Torah because we had to. So here's 2 different midrashim, 2 different stories you've known your whole life about accepting the Torah, and they're kind of opposites. How can we bring them together? How can we bring together the of Nasa v'nishma? We chose the Torah, or we're underneath a mountain, and the Torah forced us to choose it. Which is it? Which is it? Which is it? Which is it? So the answer is, my friends, that's kind of both. Kind of the same way that homework works, or getting up in the morning works. You don't want to do it. And then when you do it, you feel like, you know what, I've done something, I'm getting somewhere, I'm growing, I'm making things happen. It's the same thing with learning Torah. It's the same thing getting involved in the Torah. At the beginning, it can seem so hard. What's in the Torah? Oh, get up every morning on time and daven. What's in the Torah? I have to eat this and not eat that. But once you're doing it and you live a life of kosher and Shabbos and getting up in the morning, you're like, you know what? Whatever comes my way, I can do this. And if I get a little older and I find out something new about Shabbos that I didn't know before, that watermelon seeds, and can I take them out first or take them out second, I'm ready to learn all that because I know in the end, it's the most important and beautiful thing in the world. So as we come closer to Shavuos, as we get closer to accepting the Torah, we're actually getting closer to the idea that there's a duality here. On the one hand, we need to treat the Torah with fear and respect. It's something I must do, even though something is hard for me. It's like a mountain floating over my head. But there's also another concept. It's something beautiful that we accept upon ourselves because we know it makes our life better. It makes our life amazing. Everyone else is like, no, it's too scary. We're like, no, we're brave. We're going to try this, and we know it's going to be the best thing in the world for us. And to end on one last nice idea, Rabbi Akiva actually takes that whole thing a little bit differently. He says that mountain floating over your head that could have crushed you, it's kind of like something else. It's kind of like a wedding canopy, right? In a wedding canopy, we stand underneath a little talus, right, that's draped over two people's heads. When Chatan and Kala, when your father and mother get married, they stand underneath a little canopy, and it unites them together, and it protects them from everything around. And even though it's kind of delicate and sensitive, the people come together and they go, yeah, this is scary. I'm committing to be married for a long time. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I know there's something above us that's going to make it all work out. So as we get close to Shavuos, and there's so much learning to be done, and we're counting every day without missing a count, we got to remember to count, and we got to remember to learn, and we're learning Pirkei Avot as we do every Sunday. We hope to see you guys there. And as we're doing so many things, we're ramping up toward getting the Torah itself. We can see that as a little bit scary to start, but once we start it, it makes our lives so beautiful. Let's get ready to marry the Torah again this year. It stands above our heads, not as something scary, but as something gorgeous that we can't wait to commit to yet again. Two stories you knew your whole life, which were kind of opposite, kind of come together in a beautiful, beautiful amalgamation. Only from the Jacob congregation, center of your Jewish life. We'll see you again soon.